Zaros, known to his followers as the Great Lord, also nicknamed the Empty Lord by the Ceremonists. A god that was forgotten by most of Gielinor for thousands of years. Once, he was incredibly powerful and ruled the largest empire ever known. Fear tainted the hearts of his enemies, and his followers experienced utopia in his beautiful cities. Now, only one fortress of his still stands, Gorak, which has long been vacant. However, the main room of one of his temples has recently been uncovered and restored, the temple being the one that was once part of Sentistan, the capital city of the Zarosian Empire. This is a glimmer of hope that Zaros may return in the near future. Good or evil, regarding Zaros, it is a matter of opinion. In this episode of Clash of the RuneScape Gods, we will learn about this ancient god, his empire, and his downfall. When most players hear the name Zaros, they think of ancient magics and curse prayers, or items such as the Torva armor or the Zariyat bow. Just the items that hold Zaros' symbol and the Zarosian powers that mortals have the ability to harbor are superior to all others. Many players even reject items and prayers to their own gods because the powers Zaros offer are elite. Hence their popularity at bosses, PKing, and minigames such as Castle Wars. The Castle Wars battlefield is usually ubiquitous with Zarosian prayers and magics. This is his influence in modern culture, but what about the history of this god and his influence during the Second Age? Let us now see an estimated mapped replica of his empire. This map is slightly outdated, however the key areas are still visible. Here is a map of Gielinor that is only a year old. Zaros arrived in Gielinor early in the Second Age, shortly before Guthix entered his first slumber. He started off controlling Mortania. I will quickly draw a symbol over where his empire began. His first goal was to take over the desert region, however he failed. A desert god known as Ikflarin had control over a powerful race of warriors known as the Mahjarrat, and was able to drive Zaros out. Zaros failed in conquering the desert, but soon after the Mahjarrat left Ikflarin and joined with Zaros, saying that Zaros had more to offer. Strangely, Zaros didn't make another attempt at the desert, but he did manage to conquer all of the north, Misthalin, and Asgarnia. Nearly half of Gielinor was under his control. This northern area which I have circled is where the Gorak fortress is located. This middle region which I have circled is where the city of Sentistan once stood. It was the largest city ever built, and the capital of the Zarosian Empire. Sentistan was destroyed soon after Zaros was betrayed and banished by his former general, Zamorak. Even after Zaros was banished, his most powerful weapon and a portion of his army remained loyal to him. This army in particular was considered such a threat that Ceridoman's forces cast them into a frozen slumber.
I will show you!
Next, no one is quite sure what she is, but among all beasts in Gielinor, she is the most feared. She was Zaros' most powerful weapon, as she gained power whenever she battled. Followers of Ceridoman managed to cast her and her army into a frozen slumber. Not long afterwards, they constructed a temple around it. Her incarcerators were ignorant to the fact that Zaros still had other followers. A flock of Aviances were trusted with transporting the God Sword, but they were ambushed by Zamorakians at the temple where Nyx slept. The largest battle of the God Wars then began. Some people grew so discouraged by the seemingly endless God Wars that they followed who appeared to be a Guthixian priest. He taught them the ways of Guthix and led them into the temple where they took part in a ritual which they were told would end the God Wars. The ritual awoke Nyx and her guards, and the cult leader revealed himself to be a Zarosian mahjarrat known as Slisk. Nyx, although greatly weakened, managed to wreak havoc among the forces of the four gods warring on each other at the site, quickly gaining power. For the last time in history, the gods united, and managed to seal her away in the ancient prison. Despite being the most powerful creature we currently know of, she is nowhere near her full potential. Zaros had the power to control the demon known as Nyx, held the favor of the lich-like race known as the Mahjarrat, and owned nearly half of Gielinor. Yet for thousands of years he was unheard of to most, and it was only recently that his icon began appearing on the armor of warriors, and his name praised by mortals. So what led to this powerful god suffering such a dramatic downfall that caused him to be nearly forgotten for thousands of years? Zamorak. A powerful mahjarrat and one of the top generals of the Zarosian army no longer wished to serve the mighty god. Through a short series of events, he managed to obtain a relic of immense power, known as the Staff of Armadillo. While Zamorak's helpers fought off Zaros' bodyguards, Zamorak himself entered the palace. He lunged Zaros in the back with the Staff of Armadillo. Zaros tripped and the other end of the staff impaled Zamorak, and it then became an even gamble as to who would get the power. Unfortunately, all of the power went into Zamorak. Zaros then faded into another realm, but as that happened, he cursed all who helped Zamorak obtain the staff to forever roam Gielinor as invisible ghosts. Although most joined with Zamorak, who would later take Zaros' place as a god, a few mahjarrat remained loyal to their former master. They were Arkthankos, Jalan, Slisk, and Azanadra. Azanadra was Zaros' most loyal follower, and after being freed from a pyramid, he would take on the form of a human known as Dr. Nabanik. In that persona, he would rebuild the Sentistan Temple and re-establish contact with Zaros. Will this once powerful god return? And if so, will he seek vengeance on Zamorak? The Guthixian guardian Juna once said, Zaros' banishment was an imbalance. She has also stated that Zamorak is a pretender god. Could her words imply that Guthix would support Zaros if he were to return? Would the Kaldurian demons join back with Zaros? These questions will hopefully be answered in the events following the upcoming mahjarrat ritual. If Zaros were to return, would you side with him?